डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर ओपन युनिव्हर्सिटी.
नमस्कार विद्यार्थी मित्रों, आज हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं ह्यूमन रिसोर्स मैनेजमेंट ब्लॉक 2 यूनिट 1. वेलकम बैक एट चैतन्य स्टूडियो ऑफ डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आम्बेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी. सो आज डिस्कस करेंगे ह्यूमन रिसोर्स मैनेजमेंट डिसिप्लिन का सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक, रिक्रूटमेंट एंड सिलेक्शन. So let's start the interesting journey of today's session. This side, Dr. Jignesh Trivedi from Narayana Business School. So let's start block number 2, unit number 1, recruitment and selection. So dear students, before actually studying this subject of HRM or going into the course called BBA, you might have been heard the term recruitment many a times in your family, in your relatives, in your neighborhood. So that is very common term. It's not something like only people, those who are studying management are doing this. So but today we are going to delve little deep into this terminology called recruitment and selection. So these are the learning objectives, meaning what is recruitment, what is selection, then what are the different features which might affect recruitment activity. Recruitment can be activity, it could be considered as a function. Both are one and the same. Process, how recruitment is going to get through. What are the sources from where companies are getting people? What is the difference between recruitment and selection? And finally, the process of selection. So these many things which we try to cover in today's session. So let's start with recruitment first. As whenever we are using these two terms, recruitment and selection, it is somewhat similar to training and development, wherein training comes first. So recruitment is the starting point and selection would be the secondary one, the next one. So recruitment, which means to hire people, to invite someone so that he or she can join your organization as a worker or as an employee. Skilled people, highly skilled people would be joined as an employee. Some sort of extraordinary skill set but little or no education, people turned out to be worker. So how we are getting people inside our organization? What could be the story behind that? So that particular term is known as recruitment. To recruit, which means to hire, to allow someone to be part of your organization. That is recruitment. Let's check what the human resource management scholars have to say formally about the term recruitment. So if we consider the meaning of recruitment, so first, Mr. Armstrong, what he has said, recruitment is all about attract candidates, which is primarily a matter to identify, evaluate and use the most appropriate source of applicants. Which means you cannot simply attract people. You have to figure out who among the all have the capacity to come and join in your organization to perform better. So you need to identify them. You have to analyze and then apply whichever source is possible so that they would be part of your team in no time. That's recruitment. Let's move ahead. The another gentleman, Mr. Campner, what he said, that it's the first stage in process which continues with selection and sees the placement of the candidate. So as I told you, the first part is recruitment, the other part selection. Recruitment, you start inviting people. Selection, you make sure the one who would be in your organization, and that's how it will be placed. Whichever person whosoever will join, he or she will be selected. So recruitment and selection combinedly completes the placement at the end. One more from our known scholar E.B. Filippo, that it's a process to search for prospective employees and stimulate and encourage them to apply for jobs in our organization. Somewhat similar to what Mr. Armstrong has said in the beginning. Like it's a process where we have to figure out who are the capable, who are the talented, who are the potential people available in the market. And what we need to do? We have to put ourselves before them in such a manner so that they get stimulated, they get attracted towards our firm, our organization, and they'll apply. So that particular situation should be created in such a manner people with the capacity should apply in our organization for a job. So these are considered to be a formal definitions of recruitment. Now, let's check the common features of recruitment. It's a positive act because we try to encourage maximum people to apply in our organization. So, it's a positive act. What we wish? That it's a series of planned activities from A to B, B to C, C to D. You keep on going on a constant manner in order to achieve and to make sure that people will become finally part of your organization. It helps in determining the sources of manpower. We have to figure out. It's not an easy to get people. There are various options which we are just after this going to discuss. So there are different options. Now again, when we have so many options, it is again a different task that which option to utilize and which one not to. So recruitment helps you to determine that in which situation particular source would be applicable or not. Then it's the first point of contact between prospective employees and organization, which means whenever we put up an advertisement, by looking at that advertisement, people will try to approach us. People, which means potential candidates who possess the capacity to become our employees. So that is the first point of contact. Right. Now these are the features. Now what could be the factors which might affect recruitment policy for any organization? Let's check the internal factors first. What are the HR policies of an organization? What sort of HR policy company believes into? That's internal part. What is the nature of job? What type of job profiles are available for which you would like to do recruitment? And third, how reputed the firm is. Take an example, the most reputed firms all around, the Tata's Group, Reliance, Aditya Birla, ONGC, all Maharatna, Miniratna firms, or internationally Microsoft, IBM, Tesla, Apple. These are the companies considered to be highly reputed. As and when any vacancy arises, people will rush. People will run like anything. So these are the internal factors. If you consider the external ones, labor market condition, like what is the relationship of demand supply? You require X number of people and whether X plus numbers are available or X minus numbers are available. So what is the labor market condition? Scarce or extreme level of supply? Then what are the legal provisions? Now what legalities as per our own country's parameters or concerns get associated with that particular position? That should be kept in mind. socio-economic factors associated with that particular profiles. So these factors wherein internal we can manipulate, we can get adjusted, we can make some changes also as per our requirement. But if you talk about external, that is something we cannot make changes because it is applicable not only to us but many others like us. So in that case, we have to get adjusted. That is the only option left with us as well as many other companies like us. So these were the factors, internal which we can manage somehow, external we have to get adjusted with. Now let's check the process of recruitment. So first step which we have discussed, human resource planning. That is where HRP should be done properly. And if you could remember in previous sessions, beginning only I have told you that both HRP and job analysis are considered to be pre-function of recruitment and selection. And here is the proof. Step number 1, human resource planning. Right? I hope you guys can recall. Step number 2 is about determination of the strategy, that how we'll move ahead, how we'll proceed further in order to get better recruits. So you have to determine proper strategy. Step number 3, that what are the different sources available before us. Now as you all aware, we can have internal as well as external sources before us. Now which sources will work better than the other one? We have to decide, and only we will go for that source which might offer the best outcome. So wherein we have to evaluate now what would be the pros and cons associated with both the sources, which we are going to discuss next. Step number 4, that whichever source we feel are better or lesser harmful than the other one, we will try to implement our recruitment pattern by applying those sources, applying those methods and following the strategies associated with that method. Yeah, truly, we can get good outcome from that. And the final is feedback and control. Once we have implemented different methods or applying different strategies or utilizing different tools, then what would be the last? That is, we have to get the feedback. We have to figure out that yes, what we have actually achieved at the end of a process, what we were aiming, whether we would able to get it or not. So this is how from human resource planning to strategy determination to evaluating different sources to implementing different sources, and last but not the least, feedback. That's how the process of recruitment will go along. Now, the most important, most interesting, and you might be aware, not formally but informally. So what are the different sources of recruitment? So as I told you in the beginning of this session, there could be two sources, one internal, second external. So let's check upon different sources one by one. First, let's start with internal sources. What are the considered to be internal sources of recruitment for any organization? So what we can do, this is considered to be something which is restricted to people, those who are or who were working with your organization. Number 1, if you found people have the capacity to perform in different condition also, you can simply transfer that individual from one location to another or at one place wherever he was working. Work was not that much. Matlab, workers or people, those who are working were excess in supply. So you simply pick that person and ask him to leave this position and move to somewhere else. So that's what transfer. By transferring, you can complete recruitment. Second option, if you found people are highly talented, so you can provide him promotion. Then people, those who are already working in your organization, you can ask them that do you have anyone in your known area, like in your neighborhood, in your family, in your relatives, or in your close friends, who can perform this kind of very much sincere and goal-oriented task. So please call. Now, if your existing employees will offer you better employees, which is better candidates lead, then that is considered to be employee referrals. Then waiting list. What happened? You might have done recruitment and selection last time and you ask 3 people to get selected for final round, out of which 2 got the job and third job was not there. So what you have done, you have kept that third one in waiting list. Now, if the company is older, which means you have a list of so many talented people, those who have already selected but couldn't get the job at your place, you can simply make a call that bhaiya, the job is there, means he or she, the job is there, whatever for which like you have provided an interview. So you have been selected almost, but you kept in waiting list. Now that job is available. Would you like to join? Baat khatam. Either he'll say yes or no. And last but not the least, people those who are working with your company in past. People those who have worked, spent some time in your company and then they are right now working somewhere else or not working at all. You can call them and ask that, would you like to rejoin? आप वापस से हमारे साथ काम करना पसंद करोगे? If they say yes, बात बन जाती है. So these are internal sources of recruitment. Now when we check about external sources, as you all aware, there are plenty of options available. शुरुआत करते हैं आप लोगों से. First one, the fresher ones, the motivated ones, the career-oriented ones, the ones who consider to be the most creative. From where companies can get this kind of people in bulk? Campus hiring. Means company can go to different colleges and different universities and they try to take interviews in bulk. They try to follow the recruitment selection process there and towards the end they will get a good chunk in big numbers. So campus hiring, campus placement or campus recruitment, one and the same. Second, advertisement. Now there are so many options, as you all know. Advertisement could be in social media, advertisement could be in newspaper, could be in magazine, could be via leaflets, could be via billboards. You can have different options. You simply put an advertisement and people will try to catch. Then these are the days of digitalization. So each and every company has its own website wherein you can found a page called recruitment or a career. So simply people can go to that desired company's website, find out what are the requirements available in that organization. So that is there in each company's own website. Now somewhat similar to that, you all have heard the name Naukri.com, Monster.com, Timesjobs.com, Shine.com. Who are they? They are considered to be job portals, wherein certain job portals would be specific while the others are common. Means you can get any kind of jobs from that job portal. These are common or general, and wherein you can get a job of particular discipline only, then that particular job portal is considered. So either specific job portals or general job portals are there. Then there are employee exchange boards. You can just put up your requisite. You can request that if similar kind of job vacancies are there, please do let me know. And if some vacancy would arise, they will surely inform you. Many a times employee exchange boards took some charge, in some other cases they don't. But yes, that is vital option. contractors and jobbers, when you want to get in touch with illiterate people in bulk, people those who might not able to understand your situation, but via their leaders, definitely they can understand, and that's why you require contractors or jobbers. Now, one more option that consultancy is available, recruitment consultancy. So they are doing only recruitment kind of activities. So that's where people can approach and people can get benefits out of that. And last but not the least, walk-ins. That is what in many factories, in many we can say call centers, it has been mentioned that advertisement is there, vacancies are open, you can come and join the interview process. So wherein nothing has been told you well in advance, it has been done spontaneously, but simply you can go there and they are going to accept your request and they will take your interview, and if you are eligible you can get the job. So these were various sources of external recruitment. Social media intentionally did not discuss because you guys are already aware. आप देखते हो इंस्टा पे, एफबी पे कितनी सारी एड्स आती है, तो that is there. Now, evaluation of both the sources. If we consider the first one, internal sources. Now, what happened? Let's check the pros and cons. The first one, if we consider pros, internal sources, you can get faster recruitment completion. You don't need to train them much. Plus, people will have that thought that if one person can get a job, then next time they also will get a chance, which means one person from a department will be promoted, then other persons who are working hard, they also will have that hope. कोका-कोला वाला ऐड था ना शायद, मेरा नंबर कब आएगा. So internal sources में that's the advantage. If one teammate got promotion, others might feel the same happiness, same enthusiasm. ये हो गई अच्छी बात है. Now let's check upon some limitations. सबसे पहला, if you require people in big numbers, forget this internal sources. You can have requirement of 1 person, 2 people, 3 person, 5 people, fair enough. If you require 500, 1000, no internal job posting could be possible. Second, no new blood as well as new creativity or experience. Why? Because people are already working with you, people are known you, people are part of your organization. So in that case, no idea will be there. If you make assistant manager a manager, next day he cannot immediately change his entire thought process. Can he? That's not possible. And sometimes a great level of internal politics also gets started because of this. Because when someone got an idea that there is one position and 5 people have applied, which means any 4 has to go, and then people start making lobbying. So these are the problematic areas with internal recruitment. Now if you check, external sources, similarly, then in case of external sources, evaluation of external sources, when we consider, first advantage is that yes, people will come up with new ideas, with new mindset, and as well as people have that new experience available so that they can apply and they can get some new creativity into organization. Second thing, if you want people in bulk, let's say I need 500 engineers, I can approach 3-4 good engineering colleges and I can have it. So that's possible. Plus, if someone will come from outside market, someone will come from other company, then there won't be any internal politics because he or she is not an internal guy. So that's why all people would be happy. If you consider the minus sides of external evaluation, then what happens? That external source is first, it's very much time taking, time consuming method external methods are. Second, you have to put so much efforts, so it is like difficult methods to work with. Third, like you have to specify all details about JD and JS. If JD and JS has not been defined properly in advertisement, people will not turn up. Those who are talented, those who are capable, but still they won't turn up. If you consider again, it's like from monetary perspective, it is also very expensive when you go with external sources of recruitment. And plus you have to spend a lot on people's training efforts also. So these were the issues as well as some good points of both internal as well as external sources. Now let's check upon the selection, the second part B of the recruitment phenomenon. So selection is the process by which candidates will be divided into two classes, those who will be offered employment and those who will not be. Very true. Recruitment is different. You are inviting people from outside, let's join our company, please come, please do visit. Selection, if you have come up with 150 people's CV, you try to figure out 3 good out of those 150. So that is where Delhi order is right. We are trying to be very choosy by applying our brains, by analyzing things and try to get the best out of all those present. Then Thomas is saying selection is the process to differentiate between applicants in order to identify those with a greater likelihood to successful in a job. Means there are so many people, but selection is a process by which we try to figure out that who would have a better chance to be successful in a given job. बहुत सारे लोग हैं, उसमें किन के पास ये कैपेसिटी है, ये क्षमता है कि वो अच्छा परफॉर्म दिखाएंगे. तो people, those who have the capacity only will get selected and others will not. This is considered to be the selection meaning. Now if you consider the common difference between recruitment and selection, recruitment, it's a process to stimulate people to apply for a vacant position. We try to make them volatile, that please do apply, please get attracted with our profile opening and try to apply. Wherein selection, we already have a list and we have to analyze and we have to figure out who is among the best. Objective, we try to create a pool of people so that in future also we can utilize. Where in case of selection, the objective is to find out the best appropriate individual. Nature, recruitment is a positive process. Obviously, we try to welcome as many as possible in terms of their CVs. Selection by default, it's a negative process. If there are 100 people available, we try to figure only 10 or 15 or even lesser as per our requirement. So selection is basically negative because we try to figure out based out of all. How's the nature? Recruitment is positive, selection would be negative, and sequence like obviously recruitment comes first, selection comes second. So if we consider recruitment and selection, so wherein there are selection process, how we are going to select people. So this is the method, like how from step number 1 to step number 6, from employment application form, the journey will start. So like those who have been shortlisted from the list which has been given after the end of recruitment, people, those who have applied in your organization, we have filled employment application forms. It is somewhat similar to our CVs, curriculum vitae or our resume. All details have been asked. But if you wish, you can ask your CV back. But in case of application form, it will be always available there. So it will be staying with the organization for longer period of time. So one has to fill up the application form. Then second, once you have filled up, and they will check whether is there any flow with that organization requirement or not. If everything is fine, then go ahead. There would be different selection test. Various kind of tests are there. Some are customized, some are standard. So as per the job profile requirement, you have to go through that test and you have to make those tests clear. You have to pass out yourself. So people at the end of that test, those who have cleared will only be invited for further round. Those who have not clear, वहाँ से टाटा बाय बाय बोल दिया जाएगा. Then next would be selection interviews. There are different round of interviews available wherein people have to be very careful. Because आप यहाँ तक आए हैं, आपने CV put up किया था, आप shortlist हो गए, आपने selection test clear कर दिया. If you don't perform well in your selection interview, then what happens? Your journey ends here. Deadly end, unfortunate end. And there is no thumb rule that how many number of interview rounds are there. It could be different or it could be highly varied from position to position. So you have to focus upon by just participating in all possible round of interview. And then once you complete one round, they'll inform you when will be the next round. Or by the end of that day, you will receive a mail that next interview would be this round or will be on that day or will be at this location. So typically different types of interviews are there. If someone is going to get clear with that interview, then there would be a break. Now you must have said, sir, break kahan se? Break in a way, after all interviews will be cleared, there would be a break from HR department, which means they will not call you. What they are going to do? They try to figure out whatever you have mentioned on paper, that is in your application form as well as in the documents which you have submitted, are right, are true, or there is some forge in that case. There is some manipulation in that CV. So basically they'll try to check with your college, your university, your school, your academics data. If you are well experienced, they'll try to call your past employer and get to know about you, about your nature, about your work pattern. Then if they found that yes, here what you have already provided and here what they are receiving from outside, if there is almost no gap, which means you were right. If there is very significant gap, which means be ready that you will never give a call from that organization again, because उनको लगता है कि आप भरोसे के लायक नहीं हो. Now those who are going to complete successfully reference and background check, then there will be a list which is considered to be temporary selection. There would be a list. Now all of them, those who have cleared their reference and background check, are required to be there at reference and background check. And physical examination would be there. Now please understand, physical examination is something, medical examination or physical examination are one and the same terminology, but that purely depends upon a kind of job profile. Like an ambulance driver will have different physical test than a computer operator. So physical examination would be different based upon the job profile. Once you have completed your physical job profile, that kind of test, examination, Either company will call you at the company's location or company will ask you to approach any government medical center. If you have completed, then congratulations. That will be the word, because finally you will be allotted job offer later. So from employment application form to job offer, this is how your selection process will flow. That's the process in order to get a job in any organization. Dear students, when we talk about recruitment and selection, recruitment is the beginning journey for any person to be part of an organization, wherein after successfully completion of selection test as well as various round of interviews, once your reference background check gets done, followed by physical or medical examination, it is been considered that finally you are selected and you will be getting a job offer letter or appointment order, wherein the date of joining would be mentioned. So that's how any organization will get people for their working objectives. So in today's session, we have discussed two parameters, whether it's an integrated one, hiring function if we consider recruitment and selection. So students, we are keeping our session up to this. In next session, we'll meet up with the next interesting topic. Till then, goodbye. Have a great day. Have a great learning. Thank you so much.
स्वाध्यायः परमः